Sorry, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Are you a realtor?
No,
Or you're just somebody interested in buying the building?
I'm an artist.
Are you real?
They're going to be showing the pageant of the Masters up the street in the park on the other stage. Head on down that way right now if you want to go see the pageant of the Masters.
The Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. The Mona Lisa, one of the most famous paintings on earth, depicts Leonardo's view of symbolic woman, a view many men may not agree with, for Leonardo regarded his subject with a disquieting lack of normal sensuality, so that she appears at the same time voluptuous and cold, beautiful and yet faintly unappealing. The painting has been so often imitated and has had so much, indeed too much, influence in art that it is difficult to take a fresh view of it. Fortunately, every work of art is constantly subject to a fresh view, because once it leaves the imagination of the artist, it enters the imagination of the viewer.
This was in '99. Those are probably the most important two pieces because they're the first ones. The other ones are just haven't collected.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Tom, my partner, and I started the Arts Festival. We tried to, have entertainment for them and make it a good experience so they'd come back. We did a pageant of the Masters. That's kind of a Laguna Beach type deal where you emulate paintings on stage. It was fun. There were more artists really than there were other people that came for the festival. My name is David Johnson. I'm a painter, an artist. Been here since 1994. I arrived on the train. My friend met me and we walked up and down Main Street, and it was basically boarded up and it needed help.
I would say the 90s is really when we saw the hardship of a community that was almost shut down. A lot of empty storefronts or abandoned type buildings. When mining started to go down, families packed up and had to go where jobs were available.
I don't think people wanted to leave, but if they didn't have a job, they had to. It was a ghost town. It was literally empty. All the buildings were empty.
There was a gentleman, his name was Ron Cooper, and he came into town and we started some little projects, the walkway, and sort of a revitalization mentality. And then we started seeing some of our artists move in.
The artists were very outgoing with the community, and I think that attracted a lot of people that are not from here.
Some of the first people that I met that were artists moving into the area. Dave and Mary Lou.
In 1994, I was teaching at the University of Utah. Paul Davis had an off-campus summer solstice program, they called it. We were headed to LaSalle, Utah. As we drove by on the way down, Mary Lou said, "Wouldn't it be fun to have an off-campus place in a little town like this?" I didn't even know Helper. I didn't know it by the name.
Utah made a big impression on me. I had driven across the country, and I came right by this building. As a matter of fact, I came right up Route 6. I noticed the backs of these buildings, and I noticed Helper. It looked picturesque to me. I had developed a summer program in painting. We would rent properties in southern Utah. What we really need to do is to find a building.
I know a guy from Huntington. His name's Dave Johnson. Dave said he knew there was a building that Helper City owned.
We worked at getting that property privatized, but it was really the city council that opened up the doors for the artists, Mike Del Paz and Chuck Buchanan, and all of them were very supportive and just bent over backwards to help us in the door.
They said if we signed a 5-year document saying that
we indeed would use it for an art school and not for storage.
And so we started an art school. In the spring of '95 was our first class.
We had 40 students, and we had mattresses on the floor. We had students staying in the building. We had students staying in the back building. We had students sharing beds. They were crammed in here, and they loved it.
So the very first time that I came to Helper was this portrait workshop with Zachary Proctor, Matt Larson. I'd never met any of the other Helper artists to this point, but I knew of them. I came down for this workshop and I just fell in love with the energy of it.
So came in 2002 for workshops, took 3 of those, and then moved here the following summer to be an apprentice for Dave. First workshop was Dave doing a still life component, and then Paul Davis was doing landscape painting. We'd paint with Paul in the morning and do Dave in the afternoon. Something about it resonated with me. So that first workshop down here, I remember thinking, I think I could live here.
I always did art, but I'd never found my path until I found Helper. There was a lot of camaraderie and just something I was craving. The workshops were all day. It was 8 to noon, then 1 to 5 or 6, and then often we were continuing to do work after, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I was very lucky and grateful for that.
I came here not to learn how to paint, but I came here to be around a community of artists. I did one session with Paul Davis, and I gotta tell you, they were some of the best art teachers I've ever had.
Dave Dornan and Dave Johnson and Paul Davis and Mary Lou Kundemuller, they all went in as artists and started these workshops. And then you had these incredible academic professors. I can't imagine that kind of circumstance being recreated anywhere else.
I'd always wanted to learn from them. Dave and Paul Davis, I had a teacher be like, go down there in the summer, they have workshops. I packed up my stuff from Salt Lake and came down and took a few workshops, and it was really cool.
The workshop experience was really a week of intense learning. So when you get up in the morning at 7 and you work, and then classes go until 5, and then you work again on your projects until you go to bed at night, that's sometimes what it's like in your studio.
My name is Ann Cafferly, and I'm a painter based in Helper, Utah. I've been here 11 years. Came here in 2012 for a Doug Braithwaite workshop. Painting 2 sessions a day, so probably 8 hours of a day for, I think, 6 days. Just the intensity of that schedule really let me know that I was doing the right thing and I needed to do more of it.
In Helper, I think of it as we built a runway and people started landing here.
And people started taking off.
It's the kind of place that, you know, the art is one thing, but then the community is like, I'm getting involved with service projects with the mayor and the mailman, and we're on a first name basis. It feels like your opinion matters a lot of times and you have an impact.
I want to be part of the community and to support and show how utterly cool this place is. I got to do something with this. I'm going to paint people's portraits and I'm going to record their histories. When the show would come, and I did multiple shows, I wanted to be a fly on the wall because the joy and the camaraderie, the storytelling, and everything else that came about during those shows was just phenomenal.
I love it because I got all excited about my art, and I'm just a wannabe. But Dave Johnson took me under his wing, gave me a few lessons. Kate gave me a few lessons.
That little park became the central hub of Helper every summer to see families that used to live here that would bring their children back and say, this is where I was raised.
I've had people come in so thankful to see Main Street viable again. These are 80, 90-year-old people who come in and say, I remember running up those stairs to the children's department to see all the toys when I was a little kid.
A lot of people have memories of this being a place they worked when they were a kid. But just seeing people excited that there's activity again and getting kind of positive interactions with people. It's like Helper's past and Helper's present kind of coming together.
My husband and I founded the Helper Project in 2016. My husband, who's brilliant, got more and more involved and got excited about some of the things that Gary DeVincent was doing.
The cool thing is I was trying to bring back some of the buildings, from the smallest detail to the biggest stuff that you see. The Helper Project is really just a lending hand. They just want to participate. They're interested. They're a major driving force of what's going on here in Helper.
It is a big part of the community. I like that about the Helper Project. And I don't know that that was necessarily what we started out thinking, but it became apparent that the need was there. My husband's been instrumental in putting together scholarship packages for graduates of Helper, and now we've included Carbon County.
They've been so instrumental with everything that's happening in all the arts, no matter what they are, support in every way.
They've done renovations for the Real Theater.
Yeah, I'm not from Helper, and they probably wouldn't have stuck around if it wasn't for the endless support that I feel from people like the Helper Project, like the mayor, the community as a whole. Like, there's just been so many opportunities to do what I love, which is live music.
It's been proven that fine arts are one of the most sustainable ways to create economic growth that elevates the value of a community. And Helper had the potential for that. It has the history, it has the beautiful architecture, it has incredible artists.
For the kind of thing we do here, I think sustainability comes from continuing to create opportunities. Continuing to create opportunities for people to learn, for people to create artwork.
It's a magical place.